You are able to communicate. Am I audible, guys? Just to play it back. Yeah. See, we have discussed arrays. We have discussed arrays. See, there are regular data types. Predefined data types are considered into two types. Data types. One is user defined predefined data types, derived data types, predefined derived data types. In this we have seen all these kinds of things: function types, array types, pointer type, structure type, union type. We have seen, and today we are going to see about enumerated data type. So before going that, we need to understand the keyword type def. A type definition. Type def is a keyword. Type def is a keyword. Type def is a keyword which allows us to create a new type that can be used anywhere a type is permitted. అంటే రెగ్యులర్గా మనకి ఇంటీజర్, ఫ్లోట్, క్యారెక్టర్ ఇవి ఆల్రెడీ ఒక డేటా టైప్స్ ఉన్నాయి. వాటిల్ని ఎలా యూజ్ చేసుకుంటున్నామో we can create a new data type by our own, which is nothing but user defined data type. We can create a user defined data type which is third data type. User defined data type. User defined data type with the help of type def. We can create any name. You can create your own name data type also. You can create a data type with your own name. Like that we can create our own data types as well. We can create new data type as well. So now if you can see, how do you use type def keyword? This is how we go for the type def keyword. This is the syntax of the type def keyword. Any standard, so type def is the keyword that you are supposed to use, and what type you wanted to create. Let us say integer was there, float was there. Now you wanted to create a new data type called pawan, but that pawan should be of which data type? Integer data type. You cannot create new, but you can rename them. You can define your own data types with the existing data types, with referring to the existing data types, a standard derived data type, a standard or derived data type, which is nothing but user defined data type or derived data type. You can create your own data type with referring to the properties of existing data types. That may be either a predefined data type or a user defined data type. This is how we try to create a data type with the help of type def keyword. And next, coming to enumerated data types. Enumerated data type is a user defined data type based on the standard integer type. In an enumerated data type, each integer value is given to identifier called enumeration constant. So let us see this one. Enumeration. So let us say we have created some array. A is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what we have created. It's not this bracket. This is this bracket. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Array is equals to and of integer data type. So we have created an array. In the similar way, I can try to create some strings also, like char. So this is what I have done. But if you wanted to tell me, so both are same, both will be having the index of 0, 1, 2, and here also the same thing for the strings also. 0, 1, 2. So indexes are same, but you cannot give an integer value assigned to this particular string. Now what I want to do is I wanted to assign an integer value for every string or every constant whatever you wanted to call, and the 0 is called enumeration constant. These integer values are called enumeration constant. That's what we have described in this particular slide. In an enumerator type, each integer value is given to an identifier called enumeration constant. Called an enumeration constant. Now, how to create them? How do you do so? What are the advantages of it? Consider the example of your TV channels: Fox TV, ABC, Max, ESPN, CNN, Show, CBS. All these are channels. ఆ ఛానల్స్ అన్నిటికీ నంబర్ ఉంది కదా. మనం ఈ నంబర్ పిలిస్తే దాన్ని పిలిచినట్టేగా, ఆర్ దాన్ని పిలిస్తే ఆ నంబర్ వస్తుందిగా. సో ఫాక్స్ ఛానల్ అనగానే మీరు వెంటనే ఏం చెప్తారు? సమ్ నంబర్ చెప్తారు. ఈటీవీ అనగానే 1, మా టీవీ అనగానే 4, జెమినీ మూవీస్ అనగానే 22. యు ఆర్ సేయింగ్ ద నంబర్, బట్ ఈజ్ దట్ నంబర్ కరెక్ట్ ఆర్ ద ఛానల్ నేమ్ కరెక్ట్? That's how it is being done. So enum is a keyword. Enum is the keyword. Let me write enum, and you need to give the name. So your name to the data type what you wanted to create. Enumerated data type. So you wanted to create a variable of the enumerated data type. What is the name of that? Channel. Okay, channel is equals to, and how do you do so? We will be doing it with the help of channel. So now I wanted to do Gemini. Gemini is equals to 1. Fox is equals to 2. ESPN is equals to let us say 222, and Gemini movies is equals to 22. Something like that. I have created something like that. I have created something like that. So now how do you access them? How do you access them? So now I wanted to printf. Let us say a simple printf I am writing. Printf %d, and I am giving Fox. What can be the value now? What is the output expected? Can anybody guess and tell me? No, that is wrong. The output would be 2. This is not taking the index anymore. You are assigning the values. This is not going to take index because this is not a regular array. We are creating an enumeration constant. Here we are specifying the value. Here we are specifying the value. For example, enum channel 2. I am just giving the values now. Okay, Gemini, Fox, ESPN, Gemini movies. Now the somebody has responded. The value would be that one. The value will be that one. Now the expected output would be 1, because if you don't specify anything, if we don't specify anything, the enumeration starts from 0. If we don't specify anything, the enumeration starts from 0. That is the difference of it. 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 That's what we are going to see in this slide as well. Now if you see the local declarations, enum, it has given all the values. The values were already there. So it was specified. So when I am trying to print them, it will be printing ABC will be giving 11. CBS will be giving, where is CBS? 5. CNN will be giving 51. ESPN will be giving 39. Like that, the values will be there. Whatever the values that were assigned, if you see the results here, in this particular slide, if you see the results here, whatever the values that were assigned, those will be printed. Whenever you are trying to print these constants, and here Fox, HBO Max, all these are enumerated constants. enumerated. So number తో attach చేయబడి ఉన్న constant, enumerated constant, which means the value will not be changed throughout the program. How these constants are assigned? Through enumeration. One integer number has been assigned with a particular constant, so enumerated constant. So for example, if you don't specify anything, any doubts? Somebody has unmuted. Yeah, thank you. So that's what we'll try to see with the same example. We'll try to see that with the help of some example. Online GDG. Let's take an example of this one. I hope everybody is able to see my screens which I am sharing right now. Everybody able to see this one? Yes, yeah, I'm able to see this. So let us say we will try to do it with the help of enum, week, sun, month, due, date, Friday, Saturday. Now I wanted to printf %d, comma, sun. Now what will be the answer? 0. Let us see whether it is correct or not. See, you are able to see the 0 which was printed in the output screen. See, now in the same way, I'll try to create another enum. Now this time I'll try to create the same channel like what we have seen. So Fox is equals to 22, ESPN is equals to 333, Gemini is equals to 22, like that. So now I have created this enum. Now let us say I wanted to printf %d and I am trying to print ESPN value is 0333. See, that's okay. So 0 has been preloaded to it, so the value doesn't change. So it depends completely on the compiler to compiler whether that 0 is taken or not. That is okay. Now I wanted to check the same thing for Gemini, and the value is 22. So let us put a backslash n every time, so that the confusion won't be there. Now if you see 0 is 333, 22. Now I wanted to display the what is the enumerated value present in the enumerated constant called Saturday. So I am writing the comment line. I wanted to print enumeration value present with enumerated constant Saturday. And see, these are not strings. Because we haven't specified in double quotes, not used. We haven't used these double quotes to mention this. These are enumerated constants. I have created enumerated constants with the name week, with the name channel, and I am not using them also. While I wanted to printing them, I am not using the names also because it was created. No need to use them. Now I wanted to print the enumerated value present with enumerated constant sat. Simple. Sat. As simple as that. Now we will be getting the value 6. We got the value 6 because when if you don't specify the value, the enumeration starts from 0. If you don't specify any value, if we don't specify the values, the enumeration starts from 0. Are you able to understand this point, guys? how enum is working? Everybody who is listening to the class, are you able to understand enum? If you are done with it, we will go to the next concept. Everybody? Anybody has any doubts with enum concept? Okay. Now we'll go to the next concept. I wanted to just revise the entire things of structures and all. So structure is a collection of related elements, possibly of different types, having single name. So we have written a separate definition also for that. So we have written a separate definition also for that. Structure, collection of heterogeneous elements, correct? Heterogeneous elements grouped together, which can be accessed by a common element, common variable called structure variable. Common element called structure variable. That's what we have done. And how do you create all these structure elements and all? So that we will see now. So this is what it will be done. So the fraction is one structure and student is another structure. So in fraction usually we will be having the numerator and denominator like that. The numerator may be integer and the denominator may be float, or one will be float and the other will be integer, or both might be integers also. See, it is not related to the homogeneous or heterogeneous. Heterogeneous ante rendu common ga unnai kuda nu anukochu different ga. That is completely up to you. మీకు ఏ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ అయితే ఉందో ఆ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ మొత్తాన్ని ఒక చోట ఒక కలెక్షన్ ఒక బండిల్ లాగా చేయాలి అనుకుంటున్నావు. యూ వాంటెడ్ టు క్రియేట్ ఎ బండిల్ ఆఫ్ డిఫరెంట్ డేటా టైప్స్ or different data types where there must be a relation between each one of them. So that will be the structure. This is the simple example for the structure. And now elements in a structure can be of same or different types. However, all elements in the structure should be logically related. That is the most important thing. We need to create a structure when there is a logical relation between those two identifiers. When you wanted to group it, when you have some data, you wanted to create a structure, and those must be logically related. Then only we can able to then only the main essence of the structure is correct. And how do you create them? And this is how you try to create with the help of struct keyword. There is a struct keyword here, and struct name is there, and some fields and semicolon. This is the format. And on the right side you can see the example very clearly. Struct student, character ID, 10 names, that is nothing but your roll number, character name, your name, integer, grade points, what is the CGPA that you have, all these are structure. So this is how you try to create a structure. And how do you do it with the help of typedef? So with the help of typedef we can create structures like this. See, typedef is used to create user defined data type, correct? And how do you create a structure with the help of typedef? With this particular example, typedef struct. Okay, you wanted to create a typedef, that's fine. Okay, and what are the data types, what are the fields that you have? Same data types. And what is the name that you wanted to give it to your structure? That is student. So the same thing we will do it with the help of global and local declarations. So in the global you can mention the struct student, character ID, all these things. And in the local, wherever you wanted to create those structure members, you can do it in your functions. So we will do one example, then you will understand for that. Okay, I hope now everybody is able to see my screen. For structures, let us write structures. So I am trying to create struct student, and a semicolon must be there, and I wanted to create int number, char name of 10, That's all. And this is the global declaration. Global declaration of a structure. Because no variable name has been specified. We have not specified structure variable. Structure variable. I wanted to do it locally. Declaring locally, structure locally. Declaration of structure locally. Declaration of structure locally. So now I wanted to declare that. So what type it is? Student. And what is the name that you wanted to create? S1. S1. I am not going to show you the things how to access them and all, because you people are aware of all those things already. I just wanted to show you that it can be happened. Struct keyword, we refer to the type name. What is this error? Type name student, refer to the type. Sorry, I just need to do this. Struct student S1. I'm sorry. See, hello world. See here the declaration was done. How to declare a structure locally? Structure name and the variable. The syntax would be struct name, variable name. This is how you try to create structure globally. Whereas let us say there is another function. There is another function called int pawan. Okay, there is another function called int pawan. I wanted to use this. I wanted to create a new structure in this pawan. Again, there is no need to define again. So because the structure is defined globally, I can just create another variable for that particular structure. So I will create something S2. So S1 belongs to main function. S1 belongs to main function, whereas S2 is local or belongs, whatever it is. S2 is local to pawan function. S2 is local to pawan function. That is another concept of structures. That is another concept. How do you define it as a structure? All those things is this, like this. Next, the same thing with the help of type def. You can do the same thing. So this is what we have seen: global type declarations and local type declarations. And typically this is how it will be done. Sample sam1 is equals to, you have specified all the values 253.2a. So when you are trying to assign create a data type and you are assigning the values, you have given all the 4 values. In the left side we have given all the 4 values 253.2 and a. So it will be allocated like this, like x, y, t, u, or 4 variables in this particular structure sample. 4 variables will be assigned like this. If you specify only 2 values 7, 3, because it is a float point, t is a floating variable, the default value will be 0.0, and as u as a character, it will be taking \0. This is nothing but a null character. It will be taking a null character. So this is how, if you don't specify some values in the structure, the default values will be assigned at the time of initialization. Now, and how do you access them? With the help of dot operator. sam2.x, sam2.t, sam2.y, sam2.a. This is how we try to access them. This everybody knows. Structure direct selection operator. Dot is called structure direct selection operator. And multiply fraction. So these are some examples that you can go through. I am not accessing them now. I am not explaining them now. So these are all different examples that you can go through. So that is structure, and there are some examples. These are all from the textbook. So structure, so which is very important. This is very important concept, structured inside a structure. Many times they have asked in the examination point of view also. So nested structure. So what is structure? Basically of types, collection of data types. See, data, we are saying that structure is also one data type, which means one of the data type, if the one of the data type is a structure, we can call that structure as a nested structure. Yes? Oh, wait. Thank you. Yeah. So this is what it is. So when structure is nothing but collection of data types. If one of the data type is a structure, we can call it as a nested structure. So this is how a nested structure will be there. We have already discussed this in the class, and this is how it will be there. Stamp.date, stamp.time, stamp.hour, stamp.time.second, stamp.date.month. So one stamp is a structure. It has two structures. One structure name is date, the other structure is time. Whether date is having three elements, month, day, year. Time is also having three elements, hour, minutes and seconds. And how do you access them? So stamp is the main structure, and date is the inside variable, and month is sub variable. So this is how we try to access them. So when somebody asks you to write about the nested structure, this is what you are supposed to write. And a sample program to do so. So global declarations type def struct, something was there. So and we are able to access them. So name. So if you are able to see these things in the right hand side, you will understand array in structures. So we can create arrays in structures also. That we have already seen. So pointers in structures. See, month is having so many things. Month is an array, and this month variable will be acting as a pointer, because the base address of the variable name will be having the base address, which indirectly says that variable is a pointer to that array. That's what we have discussed in the arrays concept, right? So student array. So I am trying to create 50 students. So this is how the entire student array will be divided into 50 sub arrays, 50 substructures. I'm sorry, 50 substructures. The student array is an array which will be having 50 structures. That is what it is called, array of structures. So how to sort the array of structures? The program was there. You can just practice that. I am not going to discuss programs now. That you need to practice on your own. All these things will be there. So I will be sharing all these PDFs with you. This is a textbook thing. All these are present in the textbook. I am just trying to mimic the textbook over here. Some things which were not there in the syllabus. You see the syllabus and go through that. So this is what I wanted to revise on structures and enumerated data types. And now we will be seeing some new concept called dynamic memory allocations. That was not discussed to you, right guys? I presume it was not discussed. Have I discussed dynamic memory allocation in the class? Yeah. Let us say I wanted to, I hope this is, wait. Now everybody is able to see my word screen, right? And is it visible? Are you able to read the lines, or you want me to increase the size? Homogeneous. Are you able to read these guys? I mean, చూడడానికి ఓకేనా? సైజ్ పెంచనా? Grouped together and stored in continuous memory locations, that is contiguous memory locations. That is the most important thing. And let us say I am creating an array for integers of 50. Means I want to create, it will be more, I cannot create space for one big block which can hold 10 integers in continuous memory location. memory location. For example, yeah, this is what it was done, right? So I have created a block for this where the index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are the index positions. But so this is what we have done at the time of compilation. We have created space for 10 integers. But while execution or runtime or in the runtime, so we have delivered our product to the client will be using it, but always client is using only 4 integers. Then what about remaining 6 bytes or 6 into 4 bytes, 4 bytes of memory? Then what about remaining 6 into 4 bytes of memory? It's being wasted. To avoid this, we have a concept called dynamic memory allocation. We have a concept called dynamic memory allocation. And how do you do it? In C programming? That's what we are going to see now. See, array length is 9 here. First index starts from 0 and the last index is 8. As it can be seen, the length of the array above is made 9. But what if there is a requirement to change if its length size? So this is one problem that what we have discussed here. This is one problem, wastage of memory. What if the user wants to use 15 integers? Our code will be failing. So the concept is dynamic memory allocation, what we are going to use. The concept what we are going to use is dynamic memory allocation. Okay. So dynamic memory allocation, and so this is what we are going to do, and all the related things. So there are 4 different functions that we need to understand in dynamic memory allocations. They are malloc, calloc, free and realloc. So calloc, the malloc or memory allocation, malloc, memory allocation. The short form is malloc, memory allocation, is used to dynamically allocate a single large block. ఒక సింగిల్ లార్జ్ బ్లాక్ని క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. సో క్రియేట్ చేయాలంటే malloc యూస్ చేస్తాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, యూ సీ ద సింటాక్స్ ఓవర్ హియర్, ptr we are creating a pointer, see, which is nothing but an array. మనం ఒక array క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఎలాగా? డైనమిక్గా. ఏ టైప్ ఆఫ్ arrayని క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాం? దట్ కాస్ట్ టైప్, integer, float, character, whatever you wanted to create it for a structure. You wanted to create dynamically memory for an integer array. See, obvious గా మనం ఒక array క్రియేట్ చేస్తే అదొక పాయింటరేగా, a అనేది ఒక పాయింటరేగా. సో ఇఫ్ we are creating, let me write like this way, I am trying to write int a of 10. Here a is holding address of base address. Can we call a as a pointer? Guys, consider the example written over here, int a of 10. Here a is holding the base address. Can we call it a pointer? That is my question. Okay, somebody tell me the definition of a pointer first. Guys, am I audible? So in that case, can I call a as a pointer? Because a is holding the base address of an array, right? Yes, we can call a as a pointer. Now, which means I want to create a block of space dynamically for storing 10 integers. Because the same example we are talking about integers, right? I wanted to create block of space for 10 integers. So ఇప్పుడు మనం దేంతో పిలుస్తాం? a అనే వేరియబుల్తో పిలుస్తాం. అంటే a ఏంటి? పాయింటర్. సో ఏని మెమరీ అలొకేట్ చేస్తున్నా. సో ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు సే ఇట్ యాజ్ అన్ ఇంటీజర్ పాయింటర్. ఇట్స్ అన్ ఇంటీజర్ పాయింటర్ ఆఫ్ వాట్? ఎంత సైజ్ అలొకేట్ చేయాలి నువ్వు చెప్పాలిగా. How much bytes of space should be allocated? I want to allocate 10 bytes, 10 places, 10 variables, 10 integers కి సంబంధించిన ఒక బ్లాక్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. ఒక్కొక్క ఇంటీజర్ కి ఎంత స్పేస్ కావాలి? సైజ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంట్. This is what it is going to create. And it should be malloc. And this will be writing like this. So the syntax would be cast type pointer. It's not cast type pointer, and malloc number. Malloc should be having two things, I guess. Byte size. You can just say byte size calculate cheyali kada. So 10 bytes ki block create cheyalanuntunna. 10 integers patte block create cheyali. So 10 into that size, or you can just give 40 also. Directly you can specify 40. General ga chesedi matram ila chestam. Byte size. Enta byte size create cheyalanuntunnav. Directly you can specify 40 or 10 into size of integer, both are fine. Anything is fine. So if you can see the following example, if you see this particular example and the basic things of malloc explanation. So integer pointer malloc 100 into size of int. So since the size of integer is 4 bytes, this statement will allocate 400 bytes of memory, and the pointer ptr holds the address of ఫస్ట్ బైట్ ఇన్ ది మెమరీ అలొకేషన్. అంటే సింపుల్గా ఏం చేస్తున్నాం? ఒక యారేని డైనమిక్గా malloc ఫంక్షన్ యూజ్ చేసి క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఎంత సైజు క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాము? 400 bytes క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాం. దాని బేస్ అడ్రస్ ఎక్కడ పెడుతున్నాము? వీఆర్ పుట్టింగ్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ptr వేరియబుల్. సో ptr ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ an array variable. Simply it will be working as an array variable. So if you break down each and every point, you can see it in the green color photo that was presented over your screens. So int star ptr is equals to int star malloc of 5 into size of integer. So we are creating 20 bytes of memory. A large 20 bytes memory block is dynamically allocated to ptr. So if the space is insufficient, okay, now in your class I wanted to put the size of 200 people. It is not possible because the class capacity is only 70 members. I cannot put or dump 200 people, so I cannot create a memory size. Then it will reverse back me a null pointer. If I am unable to create, if that malloc function is unable to create the memory space that was allocated, then it will be returning a null pointer. It will return a null pointer. Create cheste okay, 20 bytes of memory space undi. If it is unable to create the memory space, then it will be returning a null pointer. So a simple example was also given so that you can understand what it is happening, how it is happening. So now this time we have taken how many number of elements from the user. ఎన్ని యూజర్స్ ఎన్ని ఇంటీజర్స్ యూజర్ స్టోర్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాడు, ఓకే 100 వేరియబుల్స్ తీసుకుంటాం, 100 వేరియబుల్స్ తీసుకుంటాం. సో లైక్ దాట్ ఇట్ విల్ బీ క్రియేటింగ్. ఇఫ్ ఎలకేషన్ జరిగితే మెమరీ నాట్ అలొకేటెడ్ బయటకు వచ్చేయాలి. సో మెమరీకి జరగకపోతే, అదే జరిగితే ఏం చేయాలి, సింపుల్గా దాంట్లో ఒక ఎలిమెంట్ని ఇంక్రిమెంట్ చేసి పెడుతున్నా. ఆయన 0 తీసుకున్నాను, 1 2 3 4 5 యారేలో 1 2 3 4 5 వాల్యూస్ని ప్లేస్ చేశాను, ఆ వాల్యూస్ని ప్రింట్ చేశాను. So this is how it will be there. And there is another function called calloc. So memory allocate చేయడానికి మన దగ్గర 2 మెథడ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఒకటి malloc ఫంక్షన్, రెండు calloc ఫంక్షన్. ఈ calloc ఫంక్షన్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, ఏంటి డిఫరెన్స్ దానికి దీనికి? కంటిన్యూయస్ అలొకేషన్. malloc అంటే మెమరీ అలొకేషన్, calloc అంటే కంటిన్యూయస్ అలొకేషన్. డైనమికలీ allocate number of blocks of memory by the specified data type. వెరీ మచ్ సిమిలర్ డేటా టైప్ బట్ హ్యాస్ 2 డిఫరెంట్ పాయింట్స్. ఒకటి malloc నువ్వు మెమరీ అలొకేట్ చేస్తే దాని వాల్యూస్ గార్బేజ్ వాల్యూస్ ఉంటాయి. బట్ calloc యూస్ చేస్తే దానికి వాల్యూస్ ఏముంటాయి, ఇనిషియలైజ్ టు 0. డిఫాల్ట్ వాల్యూ విల్ బి 0. దట్ ఐ విల్ స్పెసిఫై అగైన్ ఇట్ ద డిఫరెన్సెస్ బిట్వీన్ calloc అండ్ malloc అగైన్. అండ్ ద సింటాక్స్ ఆఫ్ calloc విల్ బి సో సేమ్ థింగ్. టైప్ కాస్ట్ పాయింటర్ విల్ నాట్ గెట్ చేంజ్డ్. calloc function. Now 2 variables will be there. Now 2 arguments will be there. First argument is number of elements and second argument is element size. అక్కడ మనం డైరెక్ట్గా రాసాం 4 into size of intel. ఇక్కడ డిఫరెంట్గా రాస్తాం 4, size of integer. So see example here, float star. So I wanted to create a floating array dynamically with 25 elements. So 25 n mention చేశాను and size of float. So I wanted to create 2 things. ఇందాక ఒకటే ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్, ఇక్కడ 2 ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్. అక్కడేమో డిఫాల్ట్ వాల్యూస్ అన్ని గార్బేజ్ వాల్యూస్ ఉంటాయి, calloc ఏమో డిఫాల్ట్ వాల్యూస్ 0 ఉంటాయి. దట్ ఈస్ ద ఓన్లీ డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ calloc అండ్ malloc. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ హౌ calloc విల్ బీ దేర్. సో calloc function will be there, number of variables that you wanted to create and what is the size of that particular value, integer. So 20 bytes of memory. So if a memory insufficient is there, it will return null pointer as well. So akkada memory insufficient unte null pointer return chestundi, ikkada memory insufficient unte null pointer return chestundi. Both are same in that particular case. A simple program is also there for the same way to just print and increment the values and print the values was there. Now the next function is free method. నువ్వు కావాలి అని చెప్పి 100 ఇంటీజర్స్ స్టోర్ చేసుకోవడానికి ఒక మెమరీ లొకేషన్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకున్నాం. వీ హ్యావ్ క్రియేటెడ్ 100 we have created a memory location to hold 100 integers. You have used it. We have done our work with it. మన పని అయిపోయింది దాంతో. Now whose responsibility is it to free the memory? You have used a space and you need to free it so that somebody else can come and use that particular memory location. You need to say, okay, this seat is vacant. Then somebody else will come and sit while you are leaving. So we don't know. We think somebody else came. So they will be seeing somebody is occupied. The parking space is occupied. So I need to say, see, this parking space is free. So you wanted to release the memory that has been allocated for your program for that particular variable. And how do you do that? Free of pointer. So you have created a pointer using malloc or calloc. Use that same pointer and say free that pointer, deallocate the memory. Free method in C is used to dynamically deallocate the memory. After completion of your program, automatically the memory whatever you have used will be vanished. But during the program itself, you wanted to clear the memory. Dynamic ga మీ ప్రోగ్రామ్ రన్ టైంలో ఉండగానే you wanted to free the memory that you have used. So that's what deallocate. So the memory allocated using functions malloc and calloc is not deallocated on their own. Hence, free method is used. సో వాటంతట అవి డీఅలొకేషన్ చేసుకోలేవు, కాబట్టి మనం డీఅలొకేట్ చేయాలి. ఎలాగా? ఫ్రీ ఫంక్షన్ యూజ్ చేసి. ఫ్రీ ఫంక్షన్కి ఏది ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్గా ఇవ్వాలి? ఏదైతే పాయింటర్ని మనం క్రియేట్ చేసామో ఆ పాయింటర్ని ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్గా ఇచ్చి ఆ బ్లాక్ మొత్తానికి మెమరీ డీలొకేట్ చేస్తాము. డీలొకేషన్. వీఆర్ freeing that memory. So this is how it will be done. The memory of PTR is released. So PTR అని ఉంది, దానికి స్టార్టింగ్ బైట్, దానికి అలొకేషన్ అనేది ఇచ్చాం CLOC ద్వారా. సో అదే ఫ్రీ PTR చేసిన తర్వాత సో PTR won't be there because it's not there. This will be a regular block. So a small program also sufficient doing all these things. So we are freeing both the PTRs. PTR and PTR1, because we have used both CLOC and malloc to create the space, and we are using free function to remove the space allocated for both the pointers PTR1 and PTR2. The simple program that you can see it of. And realloc. So we have freed the memory. So this is what it will happen. So let us say I will tell you where we will be using reallocation. Let us say we have used in the above case we have created space for 10 integers. So the user himself gave that he needs 10 variables. So 10 integer values. So I have created, according to the code, it created 10 variables. But later in the same program itself, he wants to allocate space for the pointer for 50 bytes. He wants to increase the memory allocated. How do you do it? With the help of reallocate. PTR reallocate. For which pointer you wanted to reallocate? Same PTR function, PTR itself. And how much? What is the new size? Earlier it was 10. Now you wanted to specify 200. You want to specify 3000. Anything is fine. It will allocate that particular number of bytes, a new big chunk, and it will be allocating to the PTR. So that is reallocation. So see this example. See this particular example, you will understand. In this particular diagram, initially we have used malloc function to create 20 bytes of memory. But still later the user changed his mind. ఓకే, ఇదివరకు పాత రోజుల్లో సినిమాలు చూసేటప్పుడు సీట్లు అయిపోతే మధ్యలో కుర్చీలు తీసుకొచ్చేసేవారు, డైనమిక్గా తీసుకొచ్చేసారు. ఆల్రెడీ ఇంతకుముందు 100 సీట్లు అనుకున్నాడు, 100 సీట్లు కట్టేశాడు. సో థియేటర్ కట్టేవాడికి ఏంటి, మేసన్ కట్టే కాంట్రాక్టర్కి ఏంటి, నువ్వు ఎన్ని చెప్తే అన్ని సీట్లు కడతాడు. 100 కెపాసిటీ కడితే 100 కెపాసిటీలు కట్టి థియేటర్ కడతాడు. 1000 చెప్తే 1000 కెపాసిటీ ఉన్న థియేటర్ కడతాడు. ఓకే, కట్టేసిన తర్వాత స్టిల్ ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు యాడ్ 20 more. It was done. In the runtime you wanted to change the capacity of the particular array or capacity of the particular block. Then you will use this realloc function. ఓకే, ఇంతకుముందు 40 ఉంది, ఇప్పుడు ఎంతకు చేంజ్ చేయాలి? ఇంతకుముందు 20 ఉంది, ఇప్పుడు ఎంతకు చేంజ్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాం? 40కి చేంజ్ చేయాలి. The same PTR, the block size will be extended. PTR, the size of PTR is changed from 20 to 40 bytes dynamically. ఇంతకు ముందున్న మెమరీకి పక్కనే ఎక్స్టెన్షన్ తీసుకొచ్చి పెడతారు. అండ్ ఆ కొత్త బ్లాక్కి పేరు కూడా PTRA. సేమ్ థింగ్ విల్ బీ యూస్డ్. సో ఒకవేళ నేను చేయలేకపోతే, పక్కన మెమరీ స్పేస్ ఖాళీగా లేదు, దెన్ ఇట్ విల్ బీ రిటర్నింగ్ ఏ నల్ పాయింటర్. A simple example also was written for your understanding. You can go through it. I will share the entire thing with you. So all these things were there just for your understanding. And one more important thing, when you are writing the examinations, what is the difference between CLOC and malloc function? CLOC and malloc function కి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి? ఒకటి డిఫాల్ట్ వాల్యూస్, రెండు నంబర్ ఆఫ్ పారామీటర్స్. నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ పారామీటర్స్. malloc ఏమో ఒక పారామీటరు, cloc ఏమో 2 పారామీటర్స్. malloc ఏమో 1 పారామీటరు, cloc ఏమో 2 పారామీటర్స్. నెక్స్ట్ ఇనీషియలైజింగ్ malloc లోనేమో డిఫాల్ట్ వాల్యూ వచ్చేసి గార్బేజ్ వాల్యూస్ వస్తాయి, cloc లోనేమో 0 వస్తుంది. సో calloc allocates memory and also initializes every byte in the allocated memory to 0. Beginning of the block, if you try to read from the allocated memory without initializing, you will invoke undefined behavior, which will usually means the values to read will be garbage values వస్తాయి. malloc అయితే గార్బేజ్, cloc అయితే 0, నంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ అక్కడ 1, ఇక్కడ 2, రిటర్న్ వాల్యూ. సో రెండు పాయింటర్ వాల్యూని రిటర్న్ చేస్తాయి. ఒకవేళ స్పేస్ ఇన్సఫిషియంట్ అయితే రెండు నల్ పాయింటర్నే రిటర్న్ చేస్తాయి. దోస్ ఆర్ ద డిఫరెన్సెస్ బిట్వీన్ calloc and malloc.